Imagine a war, but not with tanks or jets. One fought in boardrooms, on spreadsheets, and through pipelines. This is a conflict where the battlefield is the global economy, and the weapons are financial strategies and energy resources. In the 21st century, Europe landed decisive blows against Russia without firing a shot. It was a new kind of warfare where diplomacy and economic leverage took center stage. This was a war of economies, not armies, a strategic masterclass in modern power. The stakes were high and the tactics were sophisticated, involving intricate financial maneuvers. Europe deployed sanctions, rewrote energy policies, and wielded SWIFT codes and gas contracts as weapons. These tools were as effective as any military arsenal, reshaping the geopolitical landscape. The process was slow and required unprecedented cooperation among famously fractious nations. Yet, the unity forged in adversity proved to be a formidable force. Faced with a common threat, Europe united, shifting the paradigm of international conflict. This unity was a testament to the power of collective action in the face of global challenges. True power now lay in controlling money flows, diversifying supply chains, and building alliances. These strategies ensured stability and resilience in an interconnected world. The goal was clear: make the opponent economically irrelevant and politically isolated. This approach aimed to weaken adversaries without direct confrontation. This is the story of how Europe crushed Russia without firing a shot, using only economic muscle and unity. It was a victory that redefined the rules of engagement on the world stage. Buckle up as we dive into the details of this silent but staggering victory. Discover how strategic foresight and collaboration can achieve what once seemed impossible. To understand Europe's response, we need to rewind. Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014 and its ongoing aggression in Ukraine set the stage. The 2022 full-scale invasion was the final straw, an existential threat on Europe's doorstep. This wasn't just about Ukraine. It was about the security of all of Eastern Europe. Nations like Poland and the Baltics saw Ukraine's fight as their own. Doing nothing would have invited further aggression and risked the collapse of Europe's post-war order. Direct military confrontation with nuclear-armed Russia was unthinkable. Europe had to find another way, inflict damage, punish Russia, and support Ukraine, without triggering World War III. This necessity forced Europe to weaponize its economy, technology, and unity. The result, a new kind of war, fought with everything but bullets. Europe's first weapon in response to Russia's aggression wasn't military, it was economic, and it struck swiftly and decisively. The European Union, along with its allies, imposed sanctions on an unprecedented scale, targeting the very foundations of Russia's economy. Major Russian banks were kicked out of SWIFT, the global financial messaging system, crippling their ability to do business internationally and isolating them from the world's financial markets. The EU and its partners froze hundreds of billions in Russian central bank reserves, gutting Russia's financial defences and leaving the government scrambling for alternatives. The ruble plummeted in value, and Russia's central bank was forced to take emergency measures to prevent a total collapse of the currency. Sanctions also targeted Russia's industrial and military power, banning exports of advanced technology, semiconductors, and crucial aviation parts, cutting off vital supplies. As a result, Russia's industries struggled to maintain and repair modern equipment, while its energy sector, a key source of revenue, began to falter under the pressure. Oligarchs, once symbols of untouchable wealth, lost access to their yachts, mansions, and European lifestyles, sending a clear message to the Kremlin's elite that no one was immune. The goal was simple but powerful: create cracks within Russia's power structure and make the war personally costly for its most influential backers. This multi-pronged economic attack hit the Russian state, its military, and the elite all at once, amplifying the pressure from every angle. The economic squeeze was relentless and devastating, reshaping Russia's economy and sending shockwaves through its society. For decades, Europe's Achilles heel was its deep dependence on Russian energy. Natural gas and oil flowed from east to west, powering homes, factories, and entire economies. This reliance seemed convenient until it became a dangerous vulnerability. The invasion of Ukraine made it painfully clear. Every euro sent to Russia for energy was fueling the war machine. Europe's energy payments were, in effect, funding the very conflict threatening its own security. The European Union launched a bold mission, Repower EU, vowing to end this dangerous dependency at record speed and to reshape the continent's energy future. Germany and other nations scrambled to secure alternative gas supplies, striking deals with Qatar, the US, Norway, and Azerbaijan. Tankers carrying liquefied natural gas became a lifeline. In a remarkable feat, new LNG terminals were built in months, not years, an unprecedented pace for such massive infrastructure. Across the continent, Europe went on an energy diet. Thermostats were turned down, city lights dimmed, and industries innovated to cut consumption, all in a collective effort to save energy. The crisis turbocharged the shift to renewables. Solar and wind installations soared as governments and businesses invested heavily in clean energy to secure a more independent future. Europe wasn't just swapping suppliers, it was breaking a decades-old addiction. The continent diversified its energy sources, building resilience for the long term. As Europe slashed its purchases, Russia's energy income plummeted. The once lucrative pipelines to Europe slowed to a trickle, and the financial blow was immediate. Forced to sell oil at steep discounts to Asia, Russia's pipelines to Europe became useless relics, symbols of a lost era of dominance. The energy sector, long the backbone of Russia's economy, was shattered. Factories closed, jobs vanished, and the nation's financial stability was shaken. Europe's rapid and united pivot defunded Russia's war effort in real time, cutting off a vital source of revenue and weakening its ability to sustain the conflict. The continent's unity and resolve turned a historic vulnerability into a strategic victory. European nations stood together, stronger than ever before. By pulling the plug on Russian energy, Europe not only secured its own future, but also struck at the very heart of Russia's power and influence. The Great Energy Escape marked a turning point in the silent war, a moment when Europe chose independence, resilience, and a new path forward. The most surprising outcome? Europe's unprecedented unity. Russia bet on European division, but the invasion forged a united front. The EU's 27 members passed wave after wave of sanctions, requiring unanimous agreement. Leaders from across the spectrum stood together, condemning Russia and supporting Ukraine. Borders opened to millions of Ukrainian refugees. Aid flowed in. Even Germany broke taboos, sending heavy weapons to Ukraine. Russia's divide and conquer strategy failed. Every attempt to fracture Europe only strengthened its resolve. This unity amplified every economic and diplomatic move. Europe spoke with one voice. You faced not 27 nations, but a single powerful bloc, and that bloc was not backing down. Beyond the headlines, countless small actions deepened Russia's isolation. Sanctions grounded Russian airlines. No parts, no service, no software updates. Oligarchs' superyachts were hunted and seized across Europe, shattering their aura of untouchability. Russian teams were banned from major sports. Artists and institutions lost European stages. For ordinary Russians, exclusion from global events pierced the propaganda bubble. Western companies, McDonald's, IKEA, tech giants pulled out, leaving empty storefronts as symbols of isolation. Each corporate exit cut Russia off from investment, technology, and expertise. These little things added up, creating a powerful mosaic of isolation. The campaign wasn't just economic, it was cultural, social, and psychological. Russia's self-inflicted isolation became impossible to ignore. The world moved on without Russia. The pressure created a domino effect inside Russia. The economy stagnated, forced into a wartime model at the expense of healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The tech blockade crippled industries, cars without airbags, outdated military gear, and desperate smuggling for parts. A brain drain followed. Hundreds of thousands of skilled Russians fled, seeking opportunity and freedom elsewhere. Russia's greatest resource, its people, was hemorrhaging away. The military, once feared, was exposed as reliant on foreign tech and struggling to sustain itself. Diplomatic influence vanished. Russia became a pariah in Europe and a junior partner to China. The paper tiger was revealed: brittle foundations, slow decay, undeniable decline. The war's cost was not just economic, but existential. Europe's silent campaign had worked. From this crisis emerged a new European playbook: power without powder. Europe learned its market access, financial rules and tech standards are strategic weapons. Economic leverage: the EU's regulatory power compels global change. Strategic diversification: Europe now builds resilient supply chains and invests in domestic capacity. Most crucial, unity. 27 countries acting together are a force no adversary can ignore. The crisis strengthened the case for a more integrated, cohesive EU. This model isn't perfect, change is slow and costs are real, but it offers a powerful alternative to war. Europe proved it can resist aggression and uphold international law without violence. In a nuclear age, wielding power without powder is not just strategy, it's global security. The art of non-violent strength is Europe's new signature. As of September 2025, Europe's new reality is clear. The continent, once dismissed as divided, has shown the world the power of unity. It dismantled a nuclear-armed aggressor's war machine without firing a shot. The journey was costly, but the principle was vital. Borders cannot be redrawn by force. Europe's stand helped secure Ukraine and reinforce the international order. The message to aggressors: the costs of war will be devastating even without armies. Now, Europe must build on this unity, investing in security, technology and resilience. The silent war was a wake-up call. Complacency is not an option. This is a story of resilience, innovation and the power of cooperation. Europe's future will be forged not in fire, but in shared commitment to freedom and dignity.